What is going on, friends? I haven't done one of these videos in a while and I feel a desire to do it, which means I should probably do it. So I talk a lot about training and nutrition, and what I found over time is it really is the work that we do on the inside that makes that dramatic shift. I can't really ignore it anymore. Even my coaching has pretty much taken a significant shift in the direction of the focus. And I'm focusing now more on mindset and life coaching and changing the way we see the world, changing the narrative we tell ourselves, because the physique will follow. The nutrition plan and the training plan becomes a lot easier to implement, and it becomes a lot easier to sustain over time if we have made an internal shift. So that has to happen on the inside. And that's something that I'm very passionate about helping women do. The process looks different for everybody, but there's a power that's available to all of us. Some people call it God, some people call it the universe, energy, whatever you want to call it. It's available to us. We just have to learn how to tap into that. And we all know how on a very basic animalistic level. When we were kids, we knew how. But over time, we pick up messages and we begin to doubt ourselves and we lose that passion and we lose that focus on who we truly are. So what I did is about a month ago, I told my story. I opened it up to any lady that wanted to join, and I told my story, how I went from being strung out on drugs and alcohol, in and out of rehab, in and out of jail, basically losing my son to addiction. If it weren't for my parents stepping in, I would have lost custody of my son because I couldn't take care of him. And so I shared this story with friends, strangers, just anybody in the public, any woman who wanted to come. And it was such a powerful experience. And what I did at the end is I challenged the ladies. I gave them 5 points that I touched on through my story to implement for a week and see how it goes. And they did it, and they noticed a difference. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 strategies that I used to pull myself up by my bootstraps, get out of addiction. Of course, it takes a lot more help than just what I'm going to go over today, but it's the elements that I still practice today that keep me going in the direction that I want to go. And so I'm never going to outgrow these strategies, and I point my clients to them constantly because they work. So I'm going to share these strategies with you today. And if you have a pencil and paper, I suggest pulling them out. And we're going to make 5 points. The first one is going to be the narrative that we tell ourselves. So just write the narrative. We are constantly analyzing everything. That's what our minds do. They analyze the world around us. And from the time that we're kids to the present moment, we have a narrative that goes on in our minds about the world, what we're told, our experiences. All of that comes in, we internalize it, and we create a narrative in our mind about the way the world works, and especially about who we are in the world. And if you really pay attention to that narrative, you will notice some things that you did not notice before. Eckhart Tolle, if you want to look him up, he is famous for speaking about this. He's a spiritual teacher, and he talks about taking a step back and being the observer of your thoughts. So instead of getting carried away when you get flooded with emotion, some people shut down, some people fight, whenever you're reactive, your emotions are running the show. So Tolle talks about stepping back and just watching those feelings happen, watching those emotions happen. That's how you do it to figure out what your narrative is telling you. So for example, when I first started doing this, I realized that my narrative was saying, I'm a piece of shit. I need my dad for money. I mess up every relationship that comes along my life. I don't finish what I start. Basically the opposite of everything that I tell myself today. I had this narrative going and going and going. So the first step was, like Tolle says, step back and be the observer. And you'll start actually understanding and hearing what these messages are that you tell yourself every day. So it might be something like, I'm ugly. It might be, I'm stupid. And you'll hear yourself say it out loud. And I tell you, it hurts my stomach now when I hear that come out. If I say something like, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but that hurts my stomach. Or if I say, oh, I'm stupid, Like, I don't think I've said that in years. But we say these things without thinking about it. And a great way to view it is, if you would not tell your child or talk to your child that way, you should not talk to yourself that way. So that's a great way to distinguish if you are powering yourself up or tearing yourself down. So the first thing that we have to understand and take control of is the narrative. Once you become the observer and you know what's going on in your thought patterns, you can begin to plant new thoughts in there. You won't believe them at first, but that's going to lead us to the second point. Action-fed affirmations. These can accompany the narrative, and it's a very powerful tool. You've probably heard of affirmations. Maybe you stand in a mirror or you write down, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am successful, and you do it in the present tense. So this isn't a wish that we're, writing down on paper. This is something that we are speaking into existence in this present moment. You don't have to believe it yet, but just write it, say it, especially if you say it out loud. It's really powerful. But they are only powerful if you take action to back them up. So action-fed affirmations is the way I like to look at it. So you don't just want to say, I'm strong, and then sit on the couch eating Cheetos all day long, not doing anything. But if you say to yourself every day, I am strong, and you follow that by going to the gym and doing resistance training for 45 minutes, you're going to believe that affirmation so much quicker. So that's how you power up your affirmations. You have to back them up. And it doesn't have to be with your body, with training. It might be, I am a great wife. Like, maybe you're trying to attract the person that is, the man or the woman of your dreams. You can say, I am a wonderful wife. I am a worthy wife. And then you have to behave in a way that aligns with that. So you can't tell yourself that affirmation and then go out to the bar that night and act a fool. You have to act in line with what that affirmation is. So those are the first 2 points, the narrative and action-fed affirmations. The next one is pretty straightforward, and I actually learned this in 12-step when I was in it. People, places, and things. If you become intentional about your people, places, and things, your life will change. I always joke, you only have to change one thing, and that's everything to transform your life. But really, if you look at your people, places, and things, your life will begin to change. The landscape will change. Pay attention to how you feel after you're hanging out with somebody. When you go and have lunch with a friend and you leave, do you feel more energized? Do you feel better? Or do you feel kind of down and not really motivated? You've got to pay attention to how you feel around people, and then surround yourself with people who give you energy. It'll change everything. The 5 closest people to you will reflect who you are. So the people that you keep closest to you, the 5, sum those all up, that's you. So that's a really good sign if you're on track or off track with who you truly are. Second thing is places. Where are you hanging out? Are you hanging out places that are gearing you more towards what you want in your life? Or are you hanging out with places that are comfortable, but aren't pushing you forward? The bar is a great example. Most people, they go to the bar because they're bored. They haven't been intentional about finding those activities that give them energy, that they love. So the easy thing is to go to the bar. You numb out. You put yourself in a box all day, every day, and then you need a cylinder at night to spice things up. That's not what we want. Spice up your whole day so you don't need a cylinder at night. I love my mentor because he always says, create a life that you love, that you don't need to enhance through drugs. Or he says it way better than that. But basically, your job is to create a life that you don't need to enhance through a substance. Most people don't do that. It just takes intention. So pay attention to the places you go. Are they spurring you? Are they pushing you in that direction you want to go? Or are they just keeping you comfortable and you're going to wake up the same day being exactly who you've always been? Think about that. And then things. What are you doing with your time? This is a really important one, you guys. With your free time, you don't have free time. I don't have free time. No adult in this world really has that much free time if you're being productive. That's okay. But you need to be very picky with how you spend your time. I will tell you from personal experience, I've set boundaries around my time. I've made people mad. I've made family mad because I'll tell family I'm only going to spend an hour there. Or I'll say I'm spending one night and then we're going to leave the next day. And, they might throw a fit. Why don't you want to stay longer? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Because I'm intentional with how I live. I put intention behind my people, my places, and my things, and it serves me. And in doing that, I serve everyone around me. Have you ever gone with the flow and shown up as the worst version of yourself because you're doing it for someone else? Like, it sucks. It sucks. So don't just go with the flow because it's the popular thing or because your family expects it. Challenge the flow. Challenge the flow. Get out of there. Be intentional. People, places, and things. That's number 3. There's 2 more. Power of pretending and getting uncomfortable. Power of pretending. Change is scary. Anything that you're not used to doing is scary. And it's not that the people that are doing it are braver than you. It's that they're doing it regardless that they're afraid. So it's okay to be afraid. Do it. Do it anyway. I pretend constantly. At the beginning of this video, I pretended that I was comfortable to make this video, and now my body doesn't even know the difference. I'm flowing, I'm comfortable. And I do that with all my meetings. I might get a little nerve in my stomach or feel like, oh, what if I just totally, bomb this? But just pretend like you're not. Pretend you're a pro. Pretend that you've done it 1,000 times, and your body won't know the difference. So it's the same thing in every area of our lives. I'm going to give you a personal example. When I met my husband, if I would have met him 2 years earlier, I wouldn't have even looked at him. I would have thought he was way out of my league. And what I did is I pretended that I was good enough for him because I didn't believe that I was when I first met him. Now I know I am. But I pretended I was good enough for him. I acted as if. How would that girl act? How would a confident woman act? How would a woman who respects herself act? So if you're not there yet, you don't feel like you're embodying these characteristics that you really want to have, pretend you have them. Pretend every single day, and eventually your body won't know the difference, and neither will you. It'll just be your way of being. And the last one is getting uncomfortable. You all, every day, you should be doing something to get uncomfortable. I'm not saying go do keg stands, but I'm saying do something that pushes you against the resistance. Homeostasis is where the environment wants to keep you. It's where you want to keep you. That's the comfort zone. The standard, the day-to-day, the comfort zone. So the only way to change is to push against that comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable. I am constantly looking for ways to get uncomfortable. I think I almost have a problem with it, and I'm okay with it. I will do things. I will run challenges with women. I will set up, coaching calls over subjects that are uncomfortable to talk about just because I know it's going to stretch me and push me into that next level. I didn't do it on my own. I had mentors. I had people surrounding me who were pushing me to be my best. So that's why I say people, places, things. It matters. So those are the 5 things. I'm going to go through them one more time. The narrative, action-fed affirmations, people, places, and things, the power of pretending, and getting uncomfortable. Find ways to practice these every single day, and your life will change. I promise you. If you got value from this, please like and subscribe. Share this channel with your friends who need to hear it, and I will catch you next time. Love you, lady.